Welcome to Talk Shop Live. I'm Holly Gleason with the man of the hour, Kenny Chesney.
Everybody, I'm Kenny Chesney.
Songwriter, superstar, groundbreaker, country music hall of fame electee, but author.
Yes, now author. I didn't see that one coming.
I know you didn't.
I know.
But I helped Kenny write Heart Life Music. It's his first book. You said you would never, ever write a book.
Ever.
But
yet here we are.
Exactly. And I can tell you, I've known Kenny a very long time. Even I was amazed at some of the stories that we shared, the places we went. So it's for anybody that thinks they know, this is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Before we get started, for everybody watching, you can pre-order a signed copy right now. Just press the shop button on TalkShopLive, or if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, write the word shop and they will DM you a link. So we're going to make this very, very easy. This is the book.
Oh, wow, there it is.
Vanna White.
I haven't seen that yet. Wow, that's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah, there's my book. Wow, Heart Life Music with Holly Gleason.
You haven't actually talked about this book yet anywhere. I mean, we just finished it. We actually just finished it, I think. And so people have asked me a lot why I haven't written a book yet, and honestly, why now? And I guess my answer to that is I've had it's a pretty incredible story, really. If I think about the kid that grew up in East Tennessee, I used to go out and I lived way out in the country, and I used to go out and lay in my grandmother's backyard, and we lived so far out of Knoxville that you could look up at the stars at night and you wouldn't see any light pollution from any city anywhere. So it was just beautiful. And I used to go out there as a kid and lay there. I was, I guess, born a dreamer and a seeker, and always wondered what was past my county line. And I remember going out and lying on my back in the backyard of my grandmother's house, and just staring at the stars and wondering if there was anything out there at all. You found out.
And that's kind of the way this, the one of the storylines of this book is someone that was very curious as a child, and someone that that really had music in his life and thought there might be something in my life that involved music, but had no idea what that meant or where it was going to lead me.
Right. Well, it's also, as much as you love music and as much as music consumed you, whatever you did, you were going to have music, right? Like that.
No matter what. I mean, I had music in church, I had music in school, I had music in
your car going down the road.
My car going to school. I had music in my head when nothing was going on, right? It was just there.
It was inevitable.
And that's a true gift.
That is a gift.
Yeah.
So it's called Heart Life Music.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the point?
Well, of course it's the point. And it's, for me, I especially, I think that's the songwriter in me coming out. But I don't think you have to be in music to live your life with that kind of phrase or that kind of thought. You take what's in your heart and try to make that as authentic in your life as you possibly can and live your life that way. And if you are lucky enough to have the gift of music, what better way to pull all those things through than with songs and music and touching a lot of people and finding commonality with a lot of people. So that's why I felt like this book was important, and that was the great title for this book, because I had a friend of mine that would always end her emails with Heart Life Music, and I love that. It's simple, but it says a lot at the same time.
Everything.
Yeah, it says everything.
Especially for you.
But especially for me, but you don't even have to be me to apply that to your life.
Right, Heart Life Sports.
Heart, yes.
Look at Sean Payton.
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends in sports, and trust me, those people apply that same principle to their life.
So you've
In the initial stuff, you said it's not a memoir, it's something better.
Yeah.
Tell us what this is. This is better than a memoir.
Well, it is. I mean, a memoir is, all the intimate details of my life from when I was a child till now, and this is better because this is a lot more interesting. I've had a very unique journey in the music business, and I've had a unique journey getting into the music business.
Right.
And so the roads that took me down and the people that I met, the characters that I met, their stories, how they influenced me. When I first moved to Nashville to chase this impossible dream, all the people that I met that fed my...
Jewel and his dog Hussey.
Yeah, Jewel. But you talk about the songwriters that fed my inspiration and who I got to learn from. All of a sudden, I wasn't just a kid with a dream. I was in the music business a little bit when I got signed to Echo Froze Music. And I was writing songs with some of the biggest songwriters in the world and learning from them. So this is not a memoir. It's all just vignettes and postcards of my journey up until now. And it's been an incredible, very unique journey. And I mean, every artist that goes down the road has their own unique journey. But mine is filled with, characters on the road, so many characters and friends that I've met in the Virgin Islands. Mm-hmm. All my relationships with a lot of people in sports that really inspired me. And my friend Robert Kraft, who owns the New England Patriots, told me many times that sports and music bring people together more than anything in the world. And that kind of philosophy is in the book too, but I've just been, this book is, like I said, just postcards and vignettes of a really exciting, fun life out here on the road.
Let's talk about the process.
Okay.
How did you do this book?
Well, it was interesting in doing it because I felt like it was important to talk about my life with you in places that really fed my life.
Right.
And that, of course, was in Tennessee. It was a lot in the Virgin Islands. It was in Key West. It was in California. A lot of places that really fed my creativity or made my central nervous system calm down as a human being. And there's a lot of those places, and you and I touched on a lot of those places. But I felt like it was important to tell these stories in the places that created them. And I wanted this book to be as authentic as it could possibly be. And I wanted to be immersed in those settings when I told the stories and wrote this book. So that's how we did it. And I'm glad we just didn't sit in a room and just start regurgitating my life. I wanted to feel the places and the people and the characters and the friendships made over the years and the people that inspired not just my music, but the stories within this book.
Victoria, actually, we've got a great question.
Okay.
Send us your question because I am not ignoring him. I'm seeing what's coming in. Who is your favorite character or person in the book? Did you have one?
Victoria, that's a really hard question because there's some, because a lot of different characters in this book for different reasons. I'm always drawn to a lot of island characters. We talk about my friend that passed, the ghost from Yost in the book. We talk about David Wegman in the book that I really am jealous of because he's lived the majority of his life on a sailboat. And he is the ultimate seeker and dreamer, and he's a very creative person and a pirate. He's a modern day pirate. I like to think that I am, but I'm too busy to really be.
Right.
So I think, that's probably my favorite character in the book, but then you've got all your friends.
Right.
Those characters. We have, I never thought ever when I was a kid and a child, especially in high school, in my friend David Farmer's garage, listening to Eddie and Alex Van Halen and Michael Anthony
right.
and Sammy Hagar, and those guys play all this great music that I love from Van Halen, that I would ever become friends with Eddie.
Right.
So that friendship is in the book and how that happened and what it meant to me, along with Sammy Hagar and Joe Walsh. And I don't know, probably one of my favorite chapters in the book is how I met the wonderful Grace Potter and how
authentic that is, and how we didn't know each other at all. We came from two different places, different religious beliefs, different political beliefs,
Right.
just different. But when you add the secret sauce, I like to say, when you add the music, you know, there's only so many notes on the scale,
Right.
right? So when we got together, what we had in common was so profound, and it's led to a lifelong friendship.
Robert, I love this. Thank you for your question. He wants to know, do you talk about the evolution of your songs in this book? Do you get into creativity?
Well, this book there's a lot. There is a lot of creativity in this book, and I believe one of my, you know, my most important gift in my life, other than the air that I breathe, is the gift of creativity.
Right.
And we talk about that a lot in the book. And you know, when I was
A lot of songs. There are a lot of songs.
well, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, the first song I ever wrote was about a girl. I mean, I got rejected so hard in my persuasion class at ETSU. And that was my first, you can read the story of the book, but that was my first taste of rejection in the music business.
Right.
And that's in the book. So luckily, hopefully, my songs got a lot better. You talk about the evolution of your songs. I wish my songs would have been better when I gave her the song. But yes, this book is just laced with creativity.
And Lisa wants to know, what's the biggest surprise we will learn in the book?
Oh, I don't know if it's there's a lot of surprise. Some people may be surprised about how much fun we had. You know, I think everybody's given a limit in life, right? And out here on the road, since I've been on the road now for a while,
Right.
and every single year, I mean, you could walk through all these rooms and see faces and pictures of people, common, famous, it doesn't matter. We took that lemon and we are still trying to squeeze every drop out of that lemon. And when I say that, I mean the fun factor.
Right.
And taking the life that we've been given and enjoying it as much as we possibly can. And look, I have always lived by the idea of work hard and play harder. And people are going to see and feel and live a lot of that in this book. And I'm proud that's how.
I also think people are going to know who he really is inside. And I've known Kenny a long time, and I think you're a lot more thoughtful and a lot more considerate than people realize. And a lot of these stories are going to show you a piece of him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some, some
Shut up,
pieces
Mom.
of me that. No, but probably, because I don't talk about some of this stuff in normal interviews.
Yeah, well, it doesn't
Right.
come up. So just a reminder, press the shop button on TalkShopLive or comment the word shop if you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, and you'll receive a link right in your DMs to order. All right. When we were doing all these interviews, and we did hours and hours of interviews,
Yeah.
did you remember anything you'd forgotten? Did anything come back?
Well, I mean, we dive into, there's a chapter just dedicated to football, the boys of fall. And that was obviously a big part of my life. But when we started talking about my high school football coaches,
Right.
and when we started talking about that stuff, I mean, I could smell my locker room. I could smell my shoulder pads. I guess one of the things that I remembered the most, that I wouldn't say forgotten, but when you regurgitate your life like you and I have,
Right.
you remember a lot of things that you thought you'd have forgotten. And I guess one of the things is how it felt when the last time I had a pair of shoulder pads on. And I knew at that moment that was the last, after that game was over, that I wasn't going to play. I'm the same size right now as I was then. I knew I wasn't going to play college football. So I knew that last game, when I took those shoulder pads off, that was going to be the last time in my life that I ever wore a pair of shoulder pads to play in a football game. And that was really tough. And I think one of the things that I forgot was those emotions,
Right.
and realizing that this is a real turning of the page in my life. This is I had a song on the No Shoes album called "Never Gonna Feel This Way Again," and I knew in that moment that I was never going to be there ever again because life was just pushing me forward, like it does. And I think that I would have never thought about that had we not started talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I was going to say, when you look back from here, does it look very different from how it looked when you were there?
Well, I'm sorry, what?
All those memories, right? Like, because I could tell when
Yeah.
you were talking about them, you were very in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, but there's so many of those stories that we talked about that, it's one thing to live it, but when you have to relive it, it's almost like it means more now. It's called perspective, I guess.
Right.
But because I think one thing that I learned in writing this book with you is like when you're actually living it in the moment, you don't realize how important some of those moments are until later.
Right.
Those are just passing moments and people that you meet, but you could meet someone that could totally change your life. And there's some of that in this book. Troy Tomlinson, that happened with me and Troy. And just there's so many of those moments in this book.
Absolutely. Where is the craziest place you'll take the readers?
Well, we're going to take the readers in a lot of different...
Russia?
Yes, we're going to take the readers to Russia. We're going to take them to Red Square in front of St. Basil's Cathedral. I went there with a bluegrass band in college. I want to take the readers on my first tour bus called the Iron Lung. I'm going to take readers into a vibe room, a room just like this back in the day when it was crazy. I'm going to take the readers on the bow of my first boat in the Virgin Islands, and all the days that I watched the sunset with no music. I mean, it was just such a beautiful silence with all my friends there. And we're going to try to show them and make them feel what that was like. So the reader's going to go, their brain is going to go, and hopefully their heart is going to go down a lot of different places.
Zoe read my mind. She's wondering, was there ever a time you thought about giving up?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, giving up is pretty intense. I think there were moments where I didn't think that it might happen like I had hoped. But I can't say that I thought about giving up because I was so focused and I was so, I almost willed this to happen right early on. But I wouldn't say give up, but there were definitely some moments where I thought, this might not happen early on, because we were releasing some singles that nobody played. Then we had one or two that somebody played, and then we had another slick spot where, you know what I mean?
No.
I didn't know. There was a moment where I sat with my mom on my bus, and I literally told her that if the song was called Me and You, it ended up saving my career in ways. Right. But I remember telling my mother, if this song doesn't happen, I think I'm going to get dropped from the label. And to think about that now is just insanity. But that was truly a moment where I wouldn't say I was going to give up, but I was having those thoughts of this might not happen the way I wanted to.
Tammy, Texas, she wants to know, are there any lessons we can take away from your journey?
Well, I certainly hope so. I think that if there's anybody out there that's has a dream in their heart and in their head, and they're scared to take those steps to chase it, and like this book and my journey is proof that it could happen. It's not going to be given to you. I mean, you have to work really hard, and you have to give. Nothing is for free, nothing. And in a society where we all kind of want instant gratification and validation, I think that things that last are things that you truly work hard for. And there's a lot of those lessons in this book. And just, look, I've been able to thread, like going back to Heart Life Music, I've been able to thread a lot of my relationships, friendships, this journey in the business, my time in the islands, my love of sports. all the friendships and relationships that I have in all those different areas are all a thread of this book. And I guess if there's a lesson, is just go, you know, if you're a creative person, you know, just go live it and then write it. You know, it took me a minute. Like there's a story in this book about how I wrote Beer in Mexico. And Beer in Mexico was not written in a room with 4 people. It was me and my heart and my soul.
And your life.
And my life.
And your life.
And realizing, I was 36 when I wrote it, and realizing, oh wow, I was feeling all those emotions, and I started writing down on a legal pad while all my friends, and this happened in Cabo, while all my friends went out. And I sang at Cabo Wabo for Sammy Hagar's birthday party. Everybody else went out. I went home because I was feeling all these things. I didn't know what it was. And it was a real turning of the page in my life and in my soul. And that's where Beer in Mexico came from.
And a great song.
And that story. So going back to a lesson, I mean, that's a lesson for creative people, you know?
Yeah, and I think anybody,
Yeah.
you know, one of the things because obviously I know what's in the book, one of the other things I think lesson-wise, you never gave up. You didn't care.
Well, that's a big lesson, yeah.
You didn't care. It's like, oh, okay.
No, because I was truly enjoying what I was doing.
And
you
you
know?
found the fun in it.
And, well, we found a lot of fun in it. But I truly believe, had all this not happened out here, that I would be playing somewhere on a Friday and Saturday night. You know, I think that one of the lessons in this book is to find something that you're passionate about, and whether it's creativity, whatever it is, and just give it your all. Because like I said, it's not given to you. When people ask me, you know, people ask me for advice all the time. And when they say, okay, when they ask the question, okay, how do you make it? And that inner voice in my head is already thinking this person's not going to make it. Because you don't do it to make it. You do it because that's just what you do, and you can't help it. And so there's some of that stuff in this book too.
Robin, thanks Robin, has a very practical question. Are you going to do a book tour? She says, if so, I will be there.
Well, we're working on that right now. We just got the book done. So we're gonna work on how we're gonna get it out there pretty soon. But I hope so. I mean, I'm proud of this book, and I'm proud of the stories in it, and I'm proud of what we come up with, and I want to share that with as many people as possible. So I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I think
To some point we will. Yeah.
November 4th. The book comes out November 4th.
November 4th.
But if you click right now, there is a signed book. You won't have to do anything. It'll show up in your mailbox. Super easy. Instagram, Facebook, just write the word shop. They'll DM you. So
It's pretty easy.
So modern. You kind of touched on this, but how much of your creative life do we really get into?
Well, wow, a lot. I mean, look, the creativity is the one thing that's I hate to say this, but if all this out here on the road went away, that creative gift would still be inside of me. So there's a lot of my creativity in this book. There is, and it's, like I said, it was all inspired by, you know, so many days on my boat in the Virgin Islands or traveling down the highway. There's just everything about my life has fed my creativity. And so that's one of the most important things in my life. You know, it's like I said, that's one of the biggest gifts that I got from, you know, a creator.
And again, I have a secret. I know what's in the book. I also think that one of the things you do such a beautiful job with as you tell these stories is you show how all these songs really built this. Like the shows
Right.
are great, but the songs and the heart.
Yeah, but you got to have the music and the songs for anything else to work, and we've been doing this a while, and so that group, we just didn't show up one day and all of this appear. It was the music, and it was a slow build. It wasn't like, okay, I've got a bunch of followers, and I'm a TikTok phase. No, this was built very slowly for a very long time, and all of that had the thread of creativity in it.
This is not on the list. I'm gonna pull one out of the air.
Okay.
Young was such a turning point
Yeah.
in terms of music, in terms of what it said. can you, I mean, he talks about all these things in the book, but explain why you felt the need for Young.
Well, I was going through a turning point as a human being, as an artist. And I had spent several years making music because it was safe and because I was trying to get on the radio at the time. And I had done a pretty good job before Young of getting on the radio.
You had a triple platinum greatest hits.
That's right.
I mean, I'll brag for him.
But it wasn't about, all of a sudden, it wasn't about hits. It wasn't about that kind of success. I had an epiphany, and I sat down with my producer buddy Cannon, and I said, like, we have to change this. And I had the song Young that Craig Wiseman wrote, and I had a few other things, and all of a sudden we had a record that sounded different and more different than almost anybody else's sonically. And there were songs that, I mean, I would say that was probably my coming of age record, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So it was just important to me to push this as forward as I possibly could. And I knew that I couldn't just be this other person forever.
Right.
I had a shelf life, and I wanted to create more. I was on fire with creativity and pushing this dream as far as I possibly could.
About remember when at our first meeting, I asked you about Sexy Tractor.
Yeah.
And you said I didn't cut it for you. I cut it for 5 old boys.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Back home who would hear that.
Hated the Sexy Tractor.
It's okay.
That's okay, though, because I didn't cut it for you, the critics, or anybody. I knew when I heard it. A friend of mine, Paul Overstreet, wrote that song. And I knew when I heard She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy that all my cousins in East Tennessee, everybody that I grew up with, they were going to freak out. And I was right. I mean, once that song came out, we got so much stuff sent into my management company. I mean, there was a group of kids. I forgot where it was, but they were all dressed up in tuxedos and prom dresses, and they went to the prom on a bunch of tractors. So it spoke to a lot of people like that. And I'm not lying. Still to this day, it's our biggest selling T-shirt.
And to the trapdoor of it all, that's kind of what Young walked through that door.
Yes.
And it became a real call to action instead of here's some Young love.
But a lot of that change, not a lot, but some of it is in this book. And I felt like it was important to talk about that, because it was just such a turning of the page for me as an artist and as a human being. And it changed the way I write songs. It just set me on a completely different path than I was on.
Do you think it changed your audience?
Well, I think it changed my audience, but it was able to also bring along the audience that I'd built previously. All of a sudden, like you said, I had a greatest hits album that had 18 songs on it before the No Shoes, No Shirt, No Problems album.
Right.
And when that hit like it hit, all of a sudden the people that were coming to the shows before and they didn't really know me, but they knew the songs, all of a sudden it all just came together. And not only did I have Young and No Shoes and the good stuff and everything on that record, but I had 18 more songs to go with it. And all of a sudden I had a 2.5-hour show.
Yeah. And everybody felt seen.
Yes.
I mean, that was the thing that was so fascinating was the audience felt seen.
Yeah.
Versus
just hearing some songs.
You singing songs to them. I love this question. How difficult was writing a book?
Well, I mean, it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed the process of writing this book with you. Look, living it was one thing. Reliving it is another. But I enjoyed it. I like you said, we talked about earlier, I'd forgotten some of the things. And one thing leads to another, and I love the process. And I love talking about how I grew up in East Tennessee. There was a moment of my life where me and my mom lived with my grandparents, and some of that stuff's in the book. And I haven't thought about that stuff in years, but it's interesting to see the music that was in my grandmother's kitchen and how that led to the next phase of my life. And then every phase, all the music that I heard still exists in my life and affects the way that I do my show today and how I create and the music that I put out today.
I think that the music that you digest as a child really comes out in you as an adult. And I learned a lot of that, and I remembered a lot of that writing this book with you. And so, yeah, I really did enjoy it, actually.
Oh, now you tell me.
Actually.
Now he tells me.
Don't you love when people say actually at the end of something like that?
Okay, so you are in the middle.
Because you assume that I didn't enjoy writing it. But so when you say actually,
Yeah.
I really did enjoy it.
Like I said,
Actually.
now you tell me. You are in the middle of an unthinkable year.
Yeah.
Sphere,
Yeah.
Country Music Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
Heart Life Music.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You have always been, and I've been in your life a long time.
Yeah.
We don't want to date ourselves, but
You're my longest successful relationship.
with a woman. Farmer, Holden Hobby. They
Don't count.
They don't count.
Those are childhood friends.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you had to have a grown-up. You sure can't pick them. But I think one of the things that's always been inspiring to me working with you is you're never complacent. And lots of people do lots of things as their careers go forward. You keep breaking ground and connecting, right? The Island Records,
Yeah.
American Kids, just on and on and on. How do you keep inspiring yourself or reinventing yourself or breaking ground? Because
I think I don't know. I just still got a fire within me to create. And look, once you get on stage and you see how people react to songs and how those songs have been a part of their life, that is an addiction. That's a drug. To see how your hard work and what you've created in the studio, and I've been working with my producer, Buddy Cannon, for years, and all the songwriters, all the people that's involved in getting that song to those people, and to see that they really care. That's the thing that makes us want to keep doing it, or me for sure. So I think about that a lot, and I still have the fire in my belly to see that and to experience that. And that's the best way I can explain it. You know, I love what I do.
And I know I've had you play me demos. You love new songs that don't sound like anything.
Oh, of course.
else.
Yeah. But when I hear a new song, and it may be a great song for someone else, maybe.
Right.
But if I sit there, and sometimes I edit myself to a fault, but the reason I do that is I know what this audience looks like, and I know what makes them tick, and I know what moves the meter with them. And that's a really thin target to hit for me now, because I can't duplicate some other songs, which is really hard.
One of the things Kenny says in the book that's kind of great is there was a point when in this groundbreaking things changed and you stopped chasing hits or what someone told you would work. You were in a conversation with No Shoes Nation.
Yeah, and myself, and how to be better. And you're right, though. I was in a conversation with my audience.
And they seem to keep wanting more, so I guess.
And I think what's when you've been doing this for a while, like I have, I think one of the things that is, it's great because it pushes me, but trying to find songs and material that push your audience still at this point,
right,
but not annihilating them. And that's like I said, that's a thin target. But when you do, it is so perfect, and that's the bar I've set for myself.
Well, you also, again, I've been around long enough to watch. You really thrilled the audience. Like for you, anytime you think you're going to give them something they really are going to like, or you check their box, it fires you up.
Yeah.
Let's give No Shoes Nation the last question.
Okay.
Okay, from Ashley. This is hard. Talking about No Shoes Nation, what do you hope No Shoes Nation will get out of this book?
Well, first of all, I hope they see a little bit of themselves in it, right?
Right.
I think that's one of the things that has been one of the common denominators of our connection, is that I've been fortunate enough to write and record some songs that reflect their own life. I think this book does that too. And
And maybe it'll give, like I said earlier, somebody that's in a small town that's got a dream, that doesn't know what that means. They have no idea how to go about it.
Right.
Maybe this will give them a little courage to do that. I like the idea of that, because when I was growing up, like I said, lying on the ground in my grandmother's backyard, I couldn't have been further away from this moment.
Right.
And so if you're out there and you're lying out in your backyard staring up at the stars in the sky with a dream, I'm telling you, it can happen. It's not for free, but this book is proof. I am proof that the journey is worth it.
You are, absolutely. All right, so this is actually our first time talking about Heart Life Music. I think we did okay.
I think we did okay.
I think we're going to get better. So come to the book tour. You know, my head is still spinning from all of it, and I was here, right? I lived through a lot of it with you. So if he can make me go, wow, and you are at all curious about how we got here, Heart Life Music, again, super easy to pre-order.
Let me see this again.
Click on TalkShopLive.
Wow, it's real.
Specially signed editions just for this. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, just use the word shop. We will DM you a link. I can't believe it.
Love you, Holly Gleason.
I love
thank
you,
you,
Kenny
thank you,
Chesney.
thank you. And we love you guys. Thank you so much. It's because of you that this exists.
And it'll be great beach reading.
It will be great boat reading, great beach reading, great plane reading, great reading.
It's an escape.